The sky over Earth split open silently. It wasn't thunder, nor a meteor strike, nor any natural phenomenon humanity had recorded. Gigantic, monolithic ships appeared over every major city simultaneously, casting shadows that swallowed entire skylines. Their hulls were black as void, angular yet organic, with surfaces that rippled like living metal. No engines, no lights, no warning. Only presence. People froze. Cars skidded to a halt. Phones, radios, and satellites went dead. The first screams erupted as beams of pale, cold light pierced playgrounds, parks, and schoolyards. Children vanished. Captain Aria Kane, 32, stood on the bridge of the EDV Vanguard, her eyes wide but controlled. The massive human orbital defense vessel trembled under the silent weight of the invasion, sensors pinging alerts that meant nothing in the face of this unknown. "Status report," she demanded, voice tight but steady. Lieutenant Miro, young and trembling, scanned the broken feed. "They're not emitting energy signatures we can detect, ma'am." "But children? They're being transported. Entire neighborhoods gone in seconds." Aria's jaw tightened. Her niece's face flashed in her mind. 7 years old, curious, brave. Gone? Perhaps already inside alien captivity. "Focus," she said. "We don't have the luxury of fear. Plot every ship, every trajectory. Identify weaknesses." "No detectable weaknesses, Captain," Miro replied. His voice shook. "They're everywhere." Aria gritted her teeth, fists tight. "Then we fight. Every second counts." On the streets below, panic spread faster than the abductions. Parents ran blindly. Drones deployed by local authorities crashed uselessly against invisible barriers. Children's laughter was replaced by void. The Earth itself seemed to recoil, the sun's light dimmed beneath the colossal shadow of alien architecture. A holographic display flickered in Aria's cabin, overlaying global data, dozens of beam patterns converging on orbital ships, vanishing from the planet, headed to unknown locations beyond the system. The aliens' precision was chilling. It wasn't chaos, it was methodical extraction. Aria activated the intercom. "EDV teams, initiate defensive protocols. Protect remaining civilians. Intercept wherever possible. Evacuation is secondary. Extraction must be minimized." Her second-in-command, Commander Juno Vasari, leaned over the tactical console. "Captain, even if we intercept, these ships absorb energy. Weapons have minimal effect. We can't engage conventionally." "Then we engage unconventionally," Aria said. She activated the Vanguard's deep space comms, broadcasting a warning to all orbiting stations and colonies in the solar system. "Every capable vessel deploy intercept drones. Use neural disruption grids. We'll slow them down." Juno's gaze hardened. "The children, ma'am, we have to prioritize them." Aria didn't hesitate. "We do both. Humanity survives when we refuse to surrender any part of it. That includes the future. Across the globe, the aliens, the Zorath Collective, operated with cold precision." High Overseer Zalthar's voice, projected in alien tones across the children's minds, conveyed no malice, only certainty. "You are chosen," it said, "for service, for order, for perfection." Yet the children's innate defiance responded, tiny sparks of resistance flickering. A child in Paris clenched her fists, a boy in New York tugged free from the light's grip. Though small, these acts of refusal produced unpredictable results. The alien beams stuttered, a low hum of interference traveling through their circuits. Somewhere deep inside the Vanguard's control hub, Aria noticed the anomaly. "Sensors, did you see that?" Miro nodded. "Children resisting. It's affecting the beams. Partial interference. It's faint but real." Aria exhaled sharply. "They're stronger than we gave them credit for. Track every anomaly, every resistance. We'll build on it. Humanity doesn't wait for miracles. We create them." The first confrontation came over New York. A massive Zorath ship hovered above Manhattan, its black hull absorbing sunlight. EDV drones surged forward, sleek, human-engineered interceptors designed for high-velocity strikes. They darted, laser grids firing. The alien ship's surface rippled, and beams of energy knocked the drones into fragments of steel and fire. Aria's voice cut through the comms. "Stay coordinated. Focus on beam sources. Don't risk children's lives. The city below shook as the first abduction beams faltered, momentarily stuttering. Children dropped to the ground, freed, screaming in terror and joy. For a fleeting moment, humanity struck back. "Captain," Juno reported, "we've established a weak frequency in the Zorath control. It's unstable. If we exploit it, we can disrupt their abduction patterns." Aria's mind raced. "Do it, now. And amplify every child's signal. Their resistance is our leverage." In the chaos, Aria moved with surgical precision. Each rescue, each tactical maneuver, was guided not by brute force but by understanding. Alien technology had limits, and even invincible-looking predators faltered when confronted by unpredictability. Humanity's improvisation became a weapon. She watched as a squad of children, previously terrified, began to coordinate instinctively, guiding drones away from capture beams, signaling safe zones. The next generation of humans born into fear already displayed genius. A young boy, no more than 9, hacked a hovering alien probe using nothing but an improvised code jammer. Its metallic limbs spasmed, and for the first time, Aria saw a flicker of triumph in the alien's perfect control. "See that?" she said to Juno, her tone finally softened with pride. "That's humanity." By nightfall, the initial abductions had been partially countered. Thousands of children were saved, but millions still missing. Cities were scarred, panic pervasive, but a fire burned, a realization that humans would not bow quietly. Aria stood on the bridge, gazing at Earth from orbit. The planet was a mosaic of broken lights and ongoing chaos, yet the resilience below was unmistakable. "We've only just begun," she murmured. Juno placed a hand on her shoulder. "And yet, humanity has already awakened. Look at them." Through the observation window, the world glimmered. Children, united by fear and defiance, had become the unexpected vanguard. The Zorath may have underestimated humans, but the seed of rebellion had been planted. Aria's eyes narrowed. "Prepare for counterstrike. They think they own the children. They've only awakened them. Humanity fights. And the galaxy will notice." Above them, the alien ships hovered silently, unaware that the humans below had already begun writing a story they would never control. And somewhere in the shadow of orbit, Aria knew the war for the children and the soul of humanity had only begun. Earth shivered under the weight of an unseen war. Even as Captain Aria Kane and her forces salvaged children from the Zorath abductions, a realization spread like wildfire. These children were no longer ordinary. Something inside them had shifted, sparked by the terror and the alien manipulation. Humanity's future was alive in the eyes of the young, and it was beginning to fight back. The EDV command center on the outskirts of Geneva hummed with tension. Holographic displays of the sky above Earth flickered with unpredictable readings. Faint energy pulses pulsed from the rescued children, tiny but unmistakably powerful. Lieutenant Miro ran analysis after analysis, his brows knit. "Captain, the children, their neural signatures are changing. The beams, the Zorath tech, even our sensors respond differently near them. It's like they're rewriting reality around themselves." Aria leaned over the display. "Show me one example." Miro tapped the console. A small holographic simulation appeared, a young girl from Tokyo, surrounded by alien abduction beams, her hands raised instinctively. The light bent and warped, refracting around her, then dissipated harmlessly. The girl's terrified eyes widened, but she was unharmed. "Focus," Aria said, voice calm but intense. "She's not just surviving. She's resisting. Amplify every neural reading. Track every child who displays this." Commander Juno Vasari stepped closer, eyes narrowing. "This is unprecedented. Fear itself is enhancing them, and some are coordinating. Even without training, they're improvising strategies to counter the Zorath." Aria exhaled slowly. "Then we accelerate their awakening. They will become our most unpredictable asset." Within days, the EDV established secure enclaves, abandoned research facilities, deep underground bunkers, and remote orbital stations. Here, rescued children could train safely, discover their abilities, and bond. One facility in the Swiss Alps became the central hub. Children with varying capacities gathered under the supervision of EDV mentors. Some exhibited telekinetic responses, moving objects without touching them. Others displayed precognitive flashes, instinctively avoiding ambushes and traps. A few could emit energy pulses, momentarily disrupting alien tech. A boy named Ren, 10 years old, stunned a visiting officer when he stopped a falling support beam with a gesture. "Did you see that?" Aria said, approaching cautiously. Ren's small chest heaved. I didn't mean to. It just happened." Aria knelt to meet his eyes. "You didn't mean to, but you can. That makes you stronger than anyone the Zorath have faced, and you're not alone. Together we can turn fear into power." Meanwhile, High Overseer Zalthar monitored the unfolding events from deep space. His eyes, crystalline and unyielding, followed every anomaly. "The humans, they resist in ways unanticipated," he said, voice resonating across alien frequencies. "Children exhibiting autonomous interference, preemptive strategies. This defiance, it is unacceptable." Zalthar summoned a fleet of drones, their designs cruelly elegant, purpose-built to suppress emerging threats. But the children, guided by instinct and newfound abilities, began thwarting them before even reaching Earth's surface. In one encounter over Cairo, a group of children coordinated without communication, creating a psychic network that projected decoys and false signals. Alien abduction beams locked onto illusions, wasting precious energy. The few Zorath operatives who tried to adapt were pushed back, their technology destabilized by unpredictable resistance. On the Vanguard, Aria watched the live feeds with an almost reverent focus. "It's not just power," she muttered. "It's creativity, defiance, and instinct. Humanity's greatest weapon has always been its unpredictability." Juno nodded, leaning against the console. "They're teaching themselves, Captain. We can guide, but the children are writing their own strategies." Aria's eyes gleamed. "Good, let them learn. And let the Zorath realize that control is an illusion." Training intensified. By midweek, Aria personally oversaw exercises designed to simulate alien abductions. Children navigated intricate obstacle courses under duress, some using telekinetic powers to shield themselves from projected beams. Others communicated silently, directing each other using emerging empathic connections. During a particularly tense session, Aria gathered a group of 7 children around a holographic globe of the solar system. "Listen carefully," she said. "The Zorath believe they control everything. They underestimate you. Every instinct you have, every spark of fear, every act of courage, it is a weapon. Use it." A girl, no more than 9, spoke up. "We don't want to fight them, Captain. We just want our friends back." Aria smiled softly, her sternness tempered by empathy. "You're not fighting because you want to. You're fighting because you must. Because when they take one child, they threaten us all. And when we resist, we remind them humanity will not bow." The children's progress caught the attention of allies beyond Earth. Minor alien civilizations, previously indifferent, sent observers to gauge humanity's potential. They witnessed the children intercepting abduction drones in orbit, deflecting beams with newfound energy manipulation, and even communicating telepathically to coordinate complex maneuvers. Back on the Vanguard, Aria received reports from multiple cities, children disrupting Zorath operations, freeing peers, saving civilians. Each success sent ripples through the global defense network. Humanity's fight had become contagious. Ordinary citizens, inspired by these young heroes, resisted alien presence wherever possible, sabotaging supply lines, hiding children, and sharing intelligence. One night, as the sun dipped behind the Alps, Aria and Juno watched a simulation of potential counterattacks. "Captain," Juno said quietly, "the Zorath underestimated us, not just the military. Humanity itself, especially the next generation." Aria's gaze hardened. "They've awakened something they cannot predict. The children, they are our seed of defiance. And when the time comes, they will remind the galaxy why humanity survives." A breakthrough came when Ren and several other children discovered a method to remotely disrupt Zorath control systems. By synchronizing their abilities, they created a feedback loop strong enough to destabilize drone operations in orbit. The Vanguard tested it in real conditions. A squadron of drones approached Earth, ready to abduct. The children concentrated, hands raised, minds aligned. A ripple of psychic energy pulsed outward, hitting the drones. Metal twisted, circuits overloaded, and the ships fell from the sky, harmlessly crashing into empty space. Aria watched the results with awe. "They're not just resisting, they're winning." Juno grinned, a rare moment of levity. "And they didn't even need us." Aria's voice was firm, full of resolve. "We guided them, yes, but this is something the Zorath cannot comprehend. We're no longer just defending Earth. We are shaping the future of humanity, and the galaxy is about to notice." As night fell, the children rested in secure facilities, their minds still pulsing with new understanding and latent power. Aria walked among them, her heart heavy but full of hope. Every face reflected fear, yes, but also determination, resilience, and courage beyond their years. "Rest tonight," she whispered. "Tomorrow we continue. Every beam they send, every attempt to enslave, every act of cruelty, it will meet resistance. Humanity has awakened, and the Zorath will learn that fear alone cannot dominate willpower." The stars above shone faintly, but even among their distant light, the pulse of Earth's next generation had begun to resonate. The war was only beginning, but humanity had already claimed the first victory, not in firepower, but in the awakening of its children. The vastness of space stretched endlessly, but humanity was no longer a passive observer. Captain Aria Kane stood on the bridge of the EDV Vanguard, gazing at the Zorath command fleet hovering above Earth. The alien ships, colossal and impossibly silent, had assumed control of orbital space, yet the humans had learned to fight back. This was no longer just defense. This was the beginning of humanity asserting itself among the stars. "Captain, fleet status," reported Lieutenant Miro, fingers flying over the console. "Drones prepped." "Children synchronized with neural interface," Juno added. "We can disrupt their systems, but we only get one shot. If we fail—" Aria didn't flinch. "We won't fail. Humanity's unpredictability is our weapon, and this is the moment to prove it." She tapped the display, bringing up a three-dimensional map of the alien formation. Beams traced the positions of Zorath vessels, while tiny pulses indicated children in orbit, channeling their newfound abilities. The first wave of drones approached Earth's atmosphere. The children, telekinetic and instinctive, extended their consciousness outward, forming a psychic shield. Beams from Zorath ships hit the projected barrier and dissipated. One drone, targeting a cluster of children, malfunctioned mid-flight, its systems overloading in a small explosion that lit the void like a miniature star. Aria's eyes gleamed. "They're holding. Keep it steady. Maintain formation, Captain," Miro said hesitantly. "The children are amplifying their output. The feedback loop is stronger than we anticipated. It's destabilizing the Zorath command vessels." Juno leaned close, whispering, "They're not just resisting, they're attacking." "Exactly," Aria replied, her voice firm. "Resistance becomes offense. Every instinct, every spark of courage, let it flow through them." High Overseer Zalthar, aboard his flagship, observed the unraveling situation with disbelief. His crystalline eyes reflected the chaos as his drones faltered and abduction beams collapsed under the unexpected psychic interference. "Impossibility," he muttered in alien tones. "They should submit, yet they rise." He initiated a direct intervention, a massive psychic pulse designed to suppress human consciousness. But when it reached the children, something remarkable occurred. Instead of dampening their abilities, it intensified them. The pulse collided with the collective human resistance, and for a moment, the children acted as one entity, a radiant force of will and defiance. On the Vanguard, Aria saw the energy surge on the screens, a halo of light radiating from orbit. "They've turned the enemy's strength into their own. This is unprecedented." Juno nodded, awe breaking through her usual composure. "They've become the vector of humanity's will." The next phase was decisive. Aria led a boarding strike against Zalthar's flagship. Humanity had learned to exploit the alien ship's overconfidence and rigidity. A contingent of elite EDV pilots, supported by the children's psychic interference, slipped through the defenses and docked with precision. Inside the flagship, the corridors were alien, angular, almost alive. Shadows moved independently of light. Aria's boots echoed softly on the metallic floors. Every step, every breath carried the weight of survival. "Stay sharp," she whispered. "This isn't just a ship. It's a weapon, and it knows instinctively how to defend itself." Children in orbit projected a mental link, guiding them around traps and security systems. Aria followed the invisible thread, each pulse of thought showing safe pathways, enemy positions, and environmental hazards. They reached Zalthar's chamber. The alien's form was imposing, crystalline, and shifting, a humanoid silhouette made of refracting light and energy. His presence radiated cold authority, but Aria didn't flinch. "You think you can resist?" Zalthar's voice reverberated, cutting through their minds. "Your species is weak, unpredictable, and chaotic. You were meant to submit." Aria stepped forward. "You were wrong. Humanity does not submit. We adapt. We fight. We protect our children, and we will not be broken." Children projected their combined force, disrupting Zalthar's control over his own systems. Shields flickered, consoles sparked, and energy conduits strained under the unforeseen assault. Zalthar recoiled, but his arrogance prevented him from retreating. Outside the ship, the battle raged on. Human fleet formations, supported by orbital children, tore through the Zorath's offensive lines. Alien vessels collapsed under sudden feedback, entire squadrons incapacitated by the unpredictable surge of human ingenuity and psychic force. Humanity's rise was visible from orbit, beams of coordinated energy and tactical brilliance slicing through alien dominance. Inside the flagship, Aria faced Zalthar directly. Their eyes, human and alien, locked. "It ends now," she said. "You cannot comprehend the magnitude of my authority," he hissed. "I comprehend more than you know," Aria replied. "I comprehend the strength of fear turned into courage, the resilience of children, and the will of humanity." With a final, synchronized surge from the children in orbit, Zalthar's psychic command shattered. His crystalline form splintered, energy cascading into uncontrolled patterns. The flagship's systems went dark. Alarms blared briefly, then fell silent. Aria exhaled, her body tense, voice steady. "The children are free. Humanity prevails." The aftermath was profound. Across the galaxy, nearby civilizations took notice. The once hidden power of humanity, resilience, creativity, and courage, was now evident. Formerly indifferent species sent emissaries, curious and cautious, observing how humans had turned fear into unprecedented strength. On Earth, cities burned and rebuilt simultaneously. Children were celebrated, trained, and nurtured, not as tools, but as symbols of the species' enduring spirit. Humanity had awakened, and it had done so through the courage of the next generation. Aria stood on the Vanguard's observation deck, gazing at Earth. The planet, scarred but unbroken, glimmered beneath the rising sun. "We've won a battle," she said quietly, "but not the war. The galaxy will remember this day, not as the day humans were enslaved, but as the day humanity awoke." Juno joined her, placing a hand on her shoulder. "And they'll tremble at what comes next." Aria's gaze hardened. "Let them. We've shown that our children are not prey. They are the beginning of a force the galaxy has never seen. Humanity ascendant, and no one will ever underestimate us again." The void of space was no longer empty for humanity. Above Earth, the remnants of the Zorath fleet drifted in fragmented silence, their imposing ships reduced to floating husks. Captain Aria Kane stood on the bridge of the EDV Vanguard, the pulse of humanity resonating through every system, every mind connected to the children who had fought alongside them. The galaxy had been forced to notice. "Captain," Lieutenant Miro said, voice tight with urgency, "we're receiving transmissions from multiple alien observers. They're curious. Requesting parley." Aria's eyes narrowed. "Curious or cautious, it doesn't matter. We answer on our terms. Prepare the communication array. I want to speak not as a representative of Earth alone, but as a voice of humanity." Juno Vasari tilted her head, considering. Do you think they'll respect it? After everything the Zorath tried? They'll respect one thing, Aria said firmly. Strength and resolve. That, and the message we carry, we will protect our own. Always. Below Earth, children who had been rescued and trained now served as beacons of hope. Cities were rebuilding, not just from physical devastation, but from fear. Schools, community centers, and training facilities had become sanctuaries of innovation, strategy, and resilience. Children taught each other, sharing skills and insights, refining their abilities in ways even Aria had not anticipated. In Geneva, a group of children demonstrated synchronized telekinetic control over rescue drones, forming dynamic formations to assist in reconstruction efforts. Aria observed via holofeed, a sense of pride settling over her. They're shaping the future, she said quietly. Not just defending it. Meanwhile, the Zorath were not defeated in ideology. Fragments of their leadership remained in hiding, recalibrating, questioning. High Overseer Zalthar had been shattered, yet his last words lingered in the void. This is not over. Humanity is fragile, chaotic, temporary. Aria allowed herself a small smile. Fragile? Maybe. Chaotic? Always but temporary? That is the one thing they underestimated. A signal arrived from the Outer Rim, the first emissary fleet from neutral alien civilizations, responding to humanity's unexpected rise. Ships unlike the Zorath, elegant and composed, positioned themselves cautiously near Earth's orbit. Their message was simple. We have observed your resilience. Humanity is recognized, Aria transmitted a measured response. Acknowledgement received. We have defended our own, and we will continue to safeguard our children, our future, and our place among the stars. Humanity will endure. As Earth's orbit cleared of immediate threats, Aria convened the Vanguard's senior officers. The war against the Zorath is not fully over. But the battle has revealed something crucial. Humanity's power lies not in technology alone, but in its spirit. Our children have demonstrated abilities beyond expectation, guided not by control, but by choice. That is our advantage, Juno nodded. They've become symbols, Captain, not just of survival, but of defiance. Aria's gaze hardened. And symbols can inspire. Symbols can unite. Symbols can terrify those who think they are invincible. Humanity has awakened, and the galaxy will remember it. The children themselves were gathered in orbit aboard the Vanguard, their small forms illuminated by the ambient glow of the stars. They had learned to control, refine, and amplify their powers. Telekinetic fields bent alien machinery, psychic links coordinated fleet movements, and precognitive instincts anticipated enemy maneuvers. Yet despite their abilities, the children remained human, curious, emotional, and deeply compassionate. Ren, now 13, spoke to Aria as she observed the training. Captain, will the Zorath come back? They may, she said honestly. But they will find a different humanity waiting. One that does not fear, one that fights for each other, one that will rise again if challenged. Another child, a girl named Lyra, interjected, eyes blazing. Then we'll be ready. We'll fight for them all, Aria smiled. And that is exactly why the galaxy will tremble at what it underestimates. Not our ships, not our weapons, but our will, our unity, and the courage of our children. A sudden alert flashed across the Vanguard's display. A residual Zorath vessel was approaching, attempting a final assault. Its size was insignificant compared to the fleet it had once commanded, but Aria treated it seriously. Children, focus. This is not a drill. Every skill you have learned, now is the moment. The children's collective response was instantaneous. Telekinetic pulses pushed the ship away from Earth, energy interference disrupted its engines, and precognitive guidance allowed human drones to intercept and neutralize it with surgical precision. Within minutes, the threat was eliminated. Target neutralized, Miro reported, awe in his voice. And without a single casualty, Aria's gaze met the children's, pride evident. Remember this day? Remember that you were not just defending yourselves or your planet. You were defining what it means to be human. As night fell on Earth, the celebrations were subdued but profound. Humanity had survived the greatest test it had faced, an alien species attempting to subjugate the very essence of its future. Cities were illuminated not by fear, but by gratitude, determination, and the knowledge that the next generation would never be controlled. Aria stood on the observation deck. Looking at the horizon where Earth met the void, she felt the pulse of human ingenuity, of courage and defiance that had sparked in every child, every citizen, every soldier. The galaxy was no longer an indifferent expanse. It was a stage where humanity had announced its presence. Juno joined her, voice quiet. "Do you think they understand what they've done? Humanity has awakened." "They will," Aria said, eyes steady. "And from now on, they will remember that humans are not to be underestimated. Not our numbers, not our technology, but our spirit. Our children have proven it. Humanity is no longer a quiet voice in the dark. We are a force, and the galaxy will feel it." The stars twinkled above, silent witnesses to the rise of a species that had been underestimated at every turn. But now Earth's children, courageous, resilient, and awakened, radiated a strength that no alien tyranny could suppress. They were not simply survivors. They were the architects of humanity's enduring legacy. In that moment, Aria Kane knew with unshakable certainty that the galaxy had been forever altered. Humanity would endure, not by submission or cunning alone, but by the defiance and brilliance of its next generation. And somewhere, deep in the void, even those who had once believed humans could be enslaved understood the truth. Humanity had awakened, and now the galaxy would tremble.